Good afternoon. It's John Wanoa here and Ramai McGhee from Maraehako, and I'm visiting here after being on our family blocks at Lawton Point and Te Araroa, whakaangiangi up the back blocks here behind Maraehako, and we are just discussing local issues linked up with projects we have out in the Maraehako Basin, and also linked to the Lawton Point along this coastline. Now I am doing extensive programs with our local people from now on, and just sharing with our knowledge where we're going to self-sustain ourselves on these lands, and to project that to our hapu and our whānau. This is just one of many visits. I'll be here just to share the information on the internet through Facebook and Twitter, which is the quickest means of getting information to a lot of people. Here today, I'm glad to have called in to see Ramai, and she will explain the current situation with her and her profession, and her job and her living here, and we're going to put that together and to learn what we're going to do from now for the future. We must leave the land in its pristine condition, and what it looks like now, it's pretty well, and we didn't want any alien things that are going to spoil the environment. So this is some of the technology we have to combat that, as well as international agreements, some of the issues that I'll be sharing from a different perspective outside of the Crown, for our own self-management of these resources. So I'll hand it over to Ramai now, and she can continue to speak about herself and Maraehako in general, her life.
Kia ora. I'm Ramai McGhee, and I'm a mokona of Hāmeora Bay, who was a criminal lawyer and owned this place, Maraehako, ran it as a farm, and I was lucky enough to inherit a piece of this farm for my children, to pass down to my children, which is a big thing, because I always felt that I had nothing to leave my children, and they live in Australia, and so there's a home here now that they can return to. It's the most beautiful place, a healing place for me throughout my life, and I'm surrounded by many of my cousins, and I just love being here because it's a gift. It's a gift from my tiponas. I came back here around about the 70s to fight the district council because they wanted to pull all the fences down and open this place up to the public. I was lucky to get a lot of help from even from Pākehās, but from locals as well, and we managed to win that case, and managed then to get permits Before that, my mother was never able to build up here because of the council not allowing it. I was brought up by my parents with my brothers and sisters in Gisborne, and her sisters and brother, they lived here at Maraehako, and we came here all the time for holidays, so it's always been a special place for us. After I fought the council, there was a job available to under a tripartite contract between Whakatohea, Tōrere and Te Whanau. The contract was working with families with children at risk, and the office was in Opotiki, which is 3/4 of an hour away, about 3/4 to an hour away from here. And there was just 2 of us workers who worked from Opotiki right to the Cape, which is a very big area. And we found ourselves with about 100 clients each at all times. We'd work fast to help people out of their issues and discharge them, and within a couple of days we'd have filled those places, so we were always busy. We had no specific training, but we had life experience, the both of us, and we were trained to budget in support work, etc. We learned who all the services were outside of Whanau, and we linked up with them. The government brought us this contract in line with WINS, so we had a relationship with them as well, which was helpful because it was difficult to get things out of them, and because Astrid and I were both fighters for the rights of our people, we over those 9 years it was like a miracle, the things that we were able to get to help our people. Our wage was poor because government wasn't giving much funding. We had to take Christmas off, actually leave our job. We didn't get Christmas holiday pay, and we had to apply for our jobs after New Year again. We didn't get much money for petrol, and because our pay was poor, we joined the Awhi Credit Union, just as the same as we put our clients in there, because we were as poor as they were. And so we had to find food parcels for a lot of them. We budgeted them until they were down about $400 off their finishing their debt, and then we put them into the credit union. And a lot of them became better off than we were. So to help them, I had many families, couples with about 3 or 4 children that only had $50 around about that to live on, and so they had to sustain themselves by fishing, diving, hunting, and of course things got a bit difficult during winter when diving was not possible. So they had a hard time, and they got to a stage where they hated being in that position. But so not only were we helping them with those issues, we had to motivate them, make them feel good about the fact that of what they would eventually get to by getting out of debt, and through that I trained, and because a lot of the issues were about alcohol and drugs, I went to train as an alcohol and drug counsellor, and then eventually I started working in mental health, and that's the job I do here at Te Whanarua. I work as a SEP clinician, which is about coexisting disorders, which is alcohol and drugs, and other problems, which is about what I was doing with families with children at risk, but I only work with adults now. I do work with youth, but it's not what I get paid for. So now that we are faced with the problem of having Petrobras, the Brazilian oil company, deciding to drill outside our area, that is a big issue for me. From the area that I have worked, the areas that I've worked in, and because since we've known about that, a lot of research has been done by our runanga, by the runanga's lawyers. Other people from outside our area are always sending us information about oil spills in other countries, the terrible damage they do, and the other issue for us is the fact that they will be drilling a lot deeper than is normally being done in other places. So for us, there's a good chance of an oil spill happening in our area. If that oil spill was to happen, then our families that need to use the sea to sustain themselves will be in a difficult situation. The government says that it will make jobs for us. Well, we're more realistic than that. We know that our people are not qualified and skilled enough to get jobs on that oil drilling platform or as part of this company. So it's not going to make jobs for us. Maybe 1, 2 might get a job on there, but let's be real, it won't make full employment for a lot of people on this coast. We have kiwi fruit here. It doesn't pay much, and when it's raining, there's no work. It's difficult for our people to get supplemented by winds if they don't earn a full wage, and then it's difficult for them to pay to travel to the work. Our people are whakamā to go and ask for help, and when they've been off work for a few days, they can't afford to go to get help in Opotiki. They can't fill their cars. So it's down-to-earth issues that people out there would not understand unless they've been through it themselves. The country areas have difficulties with those sort of things, and food, they have difficulty even buying food if they're on a benefit. So telling us that this will bring jobs for us, it won't. And I wish that, and because we know the realities, we know that we're being lied to. We're being, they're trying to appeal to us knowing that we may not know everything. But we are lucky enough to have had a lot of help from Greenpeace, and the whole of Te Kaha is really, really grateful to Greenpeace for the help that they've given us They are such brave people. They've thrown themselves in the sea in front of Petrobras, the Petrobras boat, and that for us is, you know, I feel a bit whakamā that a few of our whānau haven't thrown themselves in front of the boat, because what they're doing is putting their lives in danger for us, and for that I'll always be grateful. This is a view from my window, and the sea's a bit rough today, but it's even in its rough state, it's the most beautiful view that you can get. It's peaceful. I love it when people come here so that they can enjoy that peace that I enjoy when I look out the window and see that sea. And I don't want people to come here and ruin it. We will never sell our place, but there are Pākehās up here, outside people that have bought land here, who look at things from a money point of view. They need to be considering the fact that if that oil boat comes here, then I know for a fact that the price of their dwellings and land will go down. If there's a spill out there in the sea, our land will be worth nothing. We don't care, because it's still ours. What we care about is that it will pollute the sea, and our kaimona will be gone. But those who would want to sell their land later and get a good price for it, that will be gone. And if they don't understand why we are protesting so much, then if they take that statement on board, it might make them understand where we're coming from. This is my legacy that I can give to my children, my mokopunas, for generations to come. And I'm not going to sit here without getting up, standing up and speaking up against it, because I believe that I need to fight for my mokopunas. I need to let these people know that they need to go somewhere else. I don't want them to go into other people's places and ruin their environment, but I don't want them to do it here either. And we are not prepared to give in. My people here, we will not give in. We will fight them to stop them. Kia ora.
Thank you very much, Ramai, for your talk about what is happening here. And I just want to conclude this this video just to thank you for having us here today and spend some time with you and sharing what we have got to offer in our technology and also our planning for our future, for the mokopunas and new generations after us. So we leave behind something meaningful and something to contribute to maintain these lands and the seabed, how we found it, and our ancestors left it to us. That we have now got a threat bearing down on us, and we have to use our initiative and also our own tikanga Maori law to put our mark of authority over these resources. We depend on it for our living, and because a lot of the fish in the sea and has been taken for the Crown's corporation companies to their benefit, and we can't even have fish as our staple diet, and our health deteriorates. So that was the main source to keep our condition of our children in better health and our social development, which should be in our control. Before long, it's only us that know best to look after Maori. And not anybody else of an alien nature from overseas living with us. They've come to live on our land, and they've brought their laws, and we still have our laws which prevail over any alien law. And so for the first time we will be implementing our own way of living and law, which will bring back our people. Our lands are empty of our people who have gone to look for jobs overseas, and they won't come back until we have something worth coming back to, and better controls of the Crown using our resources too. Unfortunately, they have Ngāri kupapa working for them to make sure the Crown has the best benefit ahead of us. So we have come from Auckland, from ATUA AOTEA company, and also from the bigger Polynesian Pacific boundary area of our claim out here in these Rokumura Range, and especially with what is happening with PETROBRAS, and as Ramai explained, has a environmental risk, a high risk at that, for drilling out here, which hasn't been done yet. So we don't want any oil drilling to happen here, and so we're challenging the Crown and the government in Wellington with our own system of government. Let it be the Confederation and the flag, the 1835 Declaration of Independence flag given by Westminster Parliament and King William IV seal. So that's on one side, and also the Queen on the other side with the Crown in Wellington. That doesn't go to Westminster, it goes to the Queen. Now in conflict with us and the Hapu straight to England. So that's where I come from, to fit our laws back where they were before they got altered by the government in Wellington. And so I'm just expressing to Ramai how are we going to do it successfully without conflict or without a shot being fired. It's all law against law. At this stage, the tikanga law has been desecrated, and God being abused on the Bible in the courts. And so we have our tikanga law established and re-established back to MOAI, Crown State, which is what we've put together at Logan Point, and we're hoping to have that in place with the whole world watching. On Facebook you'll find it there, much of the history linking us Māori, indigenous people, back to our land that belongs to us, and we refute have anybody refute those claims. If not, it remains the law, LORE and LAW, according to us, the original settlers on these lands. So I just thought I'd share that with her as we go to Auckland back home, and we'll be coming back again to bring more information, and we'll be communicating by email a little bit at a time, so that they can understand this new phenomenon that has been hidden by the Crown from our people and changed to look like something else. So thank you very much for watching this video, and we'll see you soon. And thank you, Ramai, for having us to here. And we will switch off now. And that's all for now. Thank you very much.